Hello, my friends. I just saw in a Star Trek group on Facebook someone questioning the scientific accuracy of the latest Star Trek episode. And while I get where they were coming from and the complaints that they were making, I also think it's a misunderstanding of Star Trek and what Star Trek is. And so, as it is one of my favourite franchises of all time, I left the following comment. I said, I've yet to see the episode, but as much as Star Trek is one of the foundational pieces of modern science fiction, large parts of its origins, especially the 23rd century stories of the original and animated series and their films, have a much greater origin in fantasy and pulp adventure serials, and it seems that Strange New Worlds is deliberately trying to lean into that. I mean, this is a reality where a cosmic barrier that grants psychic powers encircles the galaxy, where every sentient species in the universe has a single common ancestor race that existed billions of years ago, where ancient Earth was visited by dozens of powerful non-corporeal beings that were treated as gods, where time travel can be performed routinely, where it is possible to travel so fast that you exist everywhere in the universe, and where the power of your mind can allow you to warp space-time. By the way, I want to say not all of those were from the original series, just to prove how weird this franchise is, and those don't even break into like the top 20 weirdest things in Star Trek at all. Treating Star Trek like serious science fiction is the wrong approach. Science fiction is usually extrapolating from modern science, barring one or two miracle exemptions, which are the advanced technology that we can't explain, like faster than light travel. Star Trek has about a dozen miracle exemptions in every episode, and most of them are day-to-day technology in that universe. Warp drive, transporters, replicators, artificial gravity, sensors, tricorders, dermal regenerators, etc. Star Trek is weird, and it has always been weird, and that weirdness is a large part of its charm. I think as long as the episode of Star Trek that you're watching tells a good story with characters that you care about or that I care about, I could care less about how scientifically accurate it is. I don't watch Star Trek for science or technobabble. There are things I watch for science. Like something like Project Hail Mary was a science fiction story that relied on its science, and I love it for that. That's not what Star Trek is. I watch Star Trek for the humanity of the characters and the storytelling, and especially the analogy of that storytelling with what the message they're trying to portray in the episode. That is the most important thing to me when it comes to Star Trek. And so I don't think that if you want to, I think this is the problem. Everyone treats Star Trek like a science fiction show. It's not. It's an adventure show. That's what it should be treated as. It's an adventure show that just happens to be set in space. It's not a science fiction show. Don't treat it like one. Don't treat it like the science is the most important part. The fiction is the most important part. You know, you get hard science fiction and soft science fiction. Hard science fiction sticks very much to science, to what it is trying to say. A lot of books from people like Asimov are hard science fiction. Philip K. Dick wrote a lot of hard science fiction. You know, that's hard science fiction. Soft science fiction is what Star Trek is. It's designed to be easily accessible. You don't need to be, you know, someone who understands a lot of science or understands a lot of these things to pick up on all the science that Star Trek tells you. Don't take it as a science show. It's not.